So now we finish what we call the current state of the situation, right? So we did all the steps to actually understand the root causes. We need to move forward to the suggestions, right? The implementation plan that we have. So the last thing we did was the understanding the 5 whys and root causes of problems. Now we can come up with solutions. This is just one way to do that. Remember that in the case assignment that I'm going to give you, remember not, I didn't tell you that yet, but the case assignment, it doesn't go until the implementation plan. The implementation is something that you guys have to develop for the A3 problem solving case that I'm going to give it to you. It tells you about the current situation, have interviews, have data. You can dig into some of the causes. You can kind of make some things up that make sense in terms of the root causes and more causes than the case presents, but it doesn't go into implementation and plan. So that's part of the case that you have to do it, right? You have to come up with a plan and solution that kind of makes sense, that link to the root causes. So basically have kind of few sub steps, but you're going to understand what are the countermeasures that you're going to create, so and evaluate them and see which one kind of makes more sense. So it's not like one solution for each problem. You can create multiple solutions and then evaluate and to see which one is the best one to solve the problem. And that's what this is kind of table is doing. So we learned the stoplight and prioritization matrix and stuff like that. That's kind of similar. You have the countermeasures, and you can have multiple ways to look at that, right? I put here, four very simple ones: safety, quality, cost, and productivity. Kind of basic. You can put lead time as well, depending on what kind of problem it is. You can take one out and put cost, whatever. It could be this. We're talking about impact to cost, right? Not the cost to implement. You can have another one, cost to implement. You can sum the numbers. You can have yes or no in the numbers, right? So this is one I created only with 4 categories. Is 1 to 10. You multiply them and you get the overall. So it's 1 to 10, 4 categories. You're going to get to 10,000, right? And then you use the stoplight to say, which ones you consider to be more important and which ones are less important, right? So you have to discuss that with your team, and then you can put into a 5W1H ways of, who is going to implement that, where is going to be implemented, why are we implementing it, how, who is doing that, when is going to be done, right? And you list the countermeasures that you select as the best one, as the one that we're going to do it, into an action plan or implementation plan, right? So again, in Six Sigma, we talk about implementation plan. That's an implementation plan, right? And on the schedule, I always like to put beginning and end. So don't do any in your life action plan without beginning and end. Very important. If you only put the end, people will start doing when it gets to the end sometimes, right? So you leave some wiggle rooms for that to happen. Mark where you start, because if you start late, you're going to be late, right? If you only take care of the end date, there's a highly probability when you get close to that, you realize that you need to begin, and then it's too late not to be late. That was good. So implement the countermeasure, of course, the next step. Have the plan. You want it to be quick, based on teamwork, concentrate on a few actions that you know that are going to impact the root cause. Check to see if measure pen is working. So usually set kind of weekly meetings with the team to see, who's doing what and what's not being done and what do we need to make things work. Share that, and of course, structural reporting, consensus to avoid any kind of delays, right? And C is one most important one: never give up. And there's many projects that you think you should give up in the middle of it, but just keep going. Don't give up. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna share the next one in our next video.